So today we're going to work on cleaning these rotors back up, getting them in a reasonably good condition. I've got one already done. I wanted to make sure it was going to go well before I recorded it. So as you can see kind of right here, get gloves on. It's just a good gardening glove. You can kind of see here we've got, this is just totally black, got a lot of surface rust on it. And we're just gonna try to clean these up as best as I can. And I'm gonna take you through the process of how I'm gonna do it. I've already got one done over here. And as you can see, it just looks a million times better. It's just so much cleaner. And this process really worked pretty well for me. So it's not 100% perfect or anything like that, but it's getting there. First thing first, we're gonna get a good old bucket. That is a little bit dirty already, but we gotta get a good bucket. We're gonna get some CLR. I was told by the guy that runs a rotary shop here in town, who I also bought these parts from and the rest of the motor. That CLR is really good for this kind of stuff. I got 2 bottles this time rather than 1, just because I didn't like how low the level was in this bucket, how low the CLR was in the bucket, so I had to flip it over and do all kind of weird shit, try to get most of the surface. So I'm gonna see if doing 2 of these is gonna benefit me a lot more, just to clean this crap out. So first thing I'm gonna do, crack this thing open. Oh. So there's one, and it's just barely in there. So I'm gonna go ahead and add a second bottle. Probably don't have to. If I had a better bucket for this, probably would have been, you know, a lot better. But boom, 2 down. Let's go ahead and move on to the next step. So now what I'm gonna do is, everything about the rotors are getting replaced. So the apex seals, all this corner seals and springs and all the bearings, whatnot. Everything about it's being replaced. So I'm not removing stuff that I would be keeping. It's just everything about them's getting redone. So I'm just gonna go ahead and drop this in. Let's get it one more shot. I mean, all that surface rust, totally dark, black totally on this side. And then, I mean, it's got a bunch of oil still in here, so I don't want to tip it too far, but I'm gonna go ahead and drop this thing in, and boom. So let's see if I can get a good view on this. So it's hard to tell, but you can kind of see that white line at the very bottom is where it's sitting, and it's about half, if not a little bit less than half of the rotor length or rotor width. So I'm just gonna let it sit for 2 hours and flip it over, let that sit for another 2 hours, and then let that sit for another 2 hours, and then flip around on its sides, just kind of slosh it around a little bit, get in between all the crevices. And then I've got some green Scotch-Brite right here, or Target brand Scotch-Brite sponges that are heavy duty, and that will help get rest of the just kind of crap off. This should just loosen up all the rust on it and get it back to almost a bare metal, and then I will scratch it off with a bunch of Scotch-Brite, and we will be done. While last week's video is uploading right now, and it actually says 1 hour and 17 minutes. While that's doing that, we're gonna go ahead and finish up the work on the rotors for this video. It's probably been since last Sunday, and it's now Saturday the next week. So it's been about 6 days since I recorded or started working on the other rotor. What we're gonna do today is I've actually finished up, unfortunately, without recording it. I took the rotor out of the CLR bucket, hosed it all off, washed it down, let it sit for a while, let it dry, kind of wiped it off, and then I used a Scotch-Brite to really start working at some of the edges to get that cleaned up. So what we're about to see is that final product, and it still needs a little bit of work, so that's what I'm going to kind of get to today to help kind of bring a little bit more substance to what I have already completed. So let's get right into it. Like I was saying earlier, I've cleaned off both the rotors. You can obviously see the difference between what was there before and what I have here now. Actually, you can't because you can't see them, but here's the first one. Turned out pretty well. It's kind of difficult with the light and the sun's kind of setting, so it's well, much more polished off, and actually has a little bit of WD-40 on there to keep it from rusting even again, I guess is the right word, after I just cleaned all this off. So I think this all looks pretty good. Some of these surfaces here could certainly use a little bit more. Gosh, the light is really difficult, but you can see the general progress. I do believe that this one here is actually the one that you saw in the video that was all black, and now this is kind of what it looks like. Looks pretty dang good. Another close up of this one. There's a little bit of damage here, but I don't think that's going to be a problem. I talked to the guy I'm going to be building the rotor with, and he said not to worry about that. So as you can see, I can do a little bit more cleaning on this edge here to get this cleaned up a lot better. What I'm starting off with is just this Scotch-Brite and just this clean surface. I've already cleaned it. Like I said, I used CLR, and now we're at this stage. It's kind of, see if I can zoom in. And this is the current area I'm trying to focus on. Can't get a good view on this, where I've got a bunch of rust splashes still, and then maybe in these areas as well. So I've been going at this for probably about, I don't know, 5-10 minutes, and this is kind of what I've got down. It's kind of lost some of that hue. These areas have been really difficult to clean. This is the side that I was showing you earlier. That's got those pitting marks here along the side. There you go. Kind of see that definition in there. I'm not 100% sure if those need to be totally gone, or if it's going to be okay the way they are. But yeah, I mean, you saw how it looked beforehand, and here is how it looks now. I think you can see in this light a little bit better just how much
more gray these look. It's hard to get a good up look picture of this, especially with the lighting issues that I've got. But there's that. There's that side there. This is been proven difficult to attempt to get out, so I'll have to look further into that. Here's the other one. And you can kind of see, if you can look into that smaller one up here, it's got the solid corner seals in it still. Those will all be replaced after these have been cleaned off. I'm going to go ahead and hit them with some WD-40 all over, just to kind of keep them protected from the elements, so that way I don't have to re-clean. That is both of them down, coated very lightly, just a healthy amount with WD-40 to keep them looking fresh. You probably noted there was like a slight hue to them that was a little bit orangish, and that's just from the. Now I gotta let those sit, dry, just kind of hang out, and then I will probably just move them back inside, and I will include how they look again when I go over the motor itself. That's all I've got time for today. Thanks for watching. Hopefully you liked the previous video and this video. So we'll catch you next time.